I used a lot of psychedelics. It wasn't just one or two experiences, it was a lot. But I was very young, and my brain and emotion system were not well formed because I had all of this anger and unresolved sort of emotional dysfunction. And what tends to happen with psychedelics, those get brought up to the surface. And if you don't have good support, it can actually make psychological issues more pronounced, in a sense create more dysfunction. Just as in my youth, a lot of people were using psychedelics, seeking to find some sort of spiritual connection with life. And because it helps to sort of break through sort of patterns of consciousness that are ingrained, I guess. I was very much on that path, but I was sort of doing it by myself, and I think that's quite a dangerous thing to do. And like I did a lot of things, especially when I was young, I tended to take them to the extreme and push them to very risky places, and I think that's why I ended up with such an extreme sort of breakdown. But ultimately, I was able to come out of it undamaged. I believe people could use psychedelics as part of a spiritual practice, but it has to be done very carefully. And usually with ayahuasca and things like that, there are guides. They create a sort of cultural setting in which people can deal with some of the things that come to the surface. And in a sense, that's really what happened with me through that experience, is that was actually a psychedelic experience that had caused this full-on psychosis to come. And ultimately, at the end of it, I ended up having this very spiritual experience that sort of released me from a lot of problems I was having. But at that point, the psychedelics had all worn off, and I was just in this sort of messed up state. Like, psychedelics were really common in the 70s when I was in my teens. LSD was nearly everybody took it. I mean, Paul McCartney in like 1967 basically said everybody should take LSD. It went really mainstream, and the reason why it didn't stay mainstream is a lot of people had very negative experiences because they experimented with psychedelics without sort of understanding the dangers around it and for them psychologically. It was a sort of very naive approach.